It's August 8, 2016, and it's time to review 5 of the most outrageous, infuriating, or just plain baffling things that have happened lately. It's your Facepalm 5, let's count them down. Number 1, Georgia County challenges voting rights of black residents. Black residents of the town of Sparta, Georgia have been informed that they must appear in person before their county board of elections to prove their residence, or their names will be removed from the county electoral register. The residents whose voting rights have been challenged in this way, according to the New York Times, account for 1/5 of the total number of registered voters in the town, which is more than enough to affect the results of local elections, which, according to a lawsuit filed against the board by the NAACP, is exactly the point. By the way, this sort of voter purge by the county election board would not have been allowed to proceed in the first place were it not for the Supreme Court gutting the pre-clearance section of the Voting Rights Act 3 years ago. Just saying. Number 2, Pope opposes teaching children about gender identity. Pope Francis recently told a group of bishops that teaching children that they can choose their gender is a form of ideological colonization. LGBTQ activists responded to this by pointing out that children aren't actually being taught that gender is a choice, but rather that there are many different ways that people can express and explore their gender identity, and that's perfectly fine, and people should not be stigmatized for doing that or for just generally being who they are. And you know, I could have sworn that Pope Francis was okay with this. Did he not give a statement at some point in the last year or so that he was okay with this? I guess maybe he felt like he needed to extend an olive branch to the black-hearted bigots in his church because he was afraid he was going to lose them with all the humane, inclusive shit. Number 3, Idaho legislature nudges abortion-seeking women toward anti-abortion organizations. A new statute requires that the Idaho State Department of Health and Welfare provide a list of places that offer free ultrasound services. Now that sounds harmless, even helpful at first, right? The problem is the list is dominated not by medical clinics or doctors' offices, but by crisis pregnancy centers, which are devoted to dissuading women who come to them for help from having abortions and often employ a heavy dose of religion-infueled guilt in order to make their case. When the statute was being debated in the legislature, Democrats proposed that they require any facilities on the list to provide medically accurate information to the women who come to them for help. But the Republicans rejected that proposal. I'm sorry, were you sitting down when I said that? Hope I didn't shock you. Number 4, movie fans start petition to shut down Rotten Tomatoes. Fans of the movie Suicide Squad started a Change.org petition to shut down the website Rotten Tomatoes, alleging that film critics always give, quote, unjust bad reviews to the films of the DC Extended Universe, which also include Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. 2 points come to mind. First, Rotten Tomatoes is a review aggregator site. It just posts reviews from other sources. It's not responsible for the content of any of the reviews it posts, positive or negative. And second, do you have any idea what the selection of superhero movies was like when I was 15, which I imagine is the average age of people who are upset about this? You know what movies I had to look forward to in the superhero genre in 1995 when I was 15? Batman Forever and Judge Dredd. And not the Carl Urban one from a few years ago, the Sylvester Stallone one, co-starring Rob Schneider. Rob fucking Schneider. I survived that. I think you'll survive movie critics not loving your cherished DC Comics cinematic murderverse. Okay? Now get off my lawn! Number 5, GOP appalled by Donald Trump continuing to behave like Donald Trump. Donald Trump has recently insulted the family of a fallen Iraq war veteran, declined to endorse fellow Republicans Paul Ryan and John McCain, granted an interview to the Washington Post where he paused no less than 5 times to watch TV, predicted that if Hillary Clinton wins the election, it will mean that the election was rigged, and just generally behaved in the sort of way one would expect from the walking personification of WorldNet Daily. So if this is just what we would expect from Donald Trump, why are so many Republicans all of a sudden getting super upset about it? I have a theory, and it's that he's losing. That is the one and only reason why Republicans are worried about Donald Trump at this point. If his poll numbers improve between now and the election, these Republican jeers will turn to cheers, mark my words. It is amazing how well success can soothe a troubled conscience, isn't it? That's fine. Hey there folks, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a supporter of this channel for as little as $1 a month. But if you go above and beyond that and you decide you can afford it and you think I'm worth it, and you pledge at $5 a month or more, you earn yourself a shout out at the end of the Facepalm 5, just like these folks here. Nicholas F. Tower, thank you Nicholas. Captain Grizzlemane, thank you Captain Grizzlemane. And Rachel, thank you Rachel. Thanks to all of my Patreon patrons. Thanks to all of you for watching, for your support, and I will see you next time.